Hi everyone, thanks for tuning again and welcome back to another episode of the You Good Homie podcast. This is episode 20. In this episode, since the first one we did was so fun, we decided to take another deep dive into the Am I the Asshole subreddit and share some stories with you guys and share our points of views on stuff. So we decided to, look at stories where the themes were men are trash. So stuff like toxic fathers, bombs, bare minimum Andes, and all that good stuff. So hopefully you guys find it fun to listen to as much as we found it fun to just talk about these stories. Make sure you guys check the description on either the podcast or the video if you're watching on YouTube to skip ahead to any stories that you want to listen to. We have included the timestamps for each of those. Follow us on social media to keep up to date with all of our posts and clips. And hope you guys enjoyed the episode and have a great day.
You what?
Hey, welcome back.
We're getting cozy today.
We're a little bit more intimate today.
Different setup. All right, what are we doing today, Ronald?
So today we're gonna be doing Am I the Asshole 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Shippuden.
Endgame.
We just kind of were like, we had a bunch of stuff planned for this topic, but we wanted to be a little bit more prepared. But we still wanted to push out content for you guys, so we're gonna be doing more of an impromptu kind of podcast today.
Yeah.
Am I the Asshole? Just us three.
Yeah, I guess you can say it's the filler episode of Shippuden.
Episode.
But yeah, I think going forward we definitely want to go at least with things like that are a little more serious. We want more research. Yeah. We don't want to just talk about I don't know.
Bring in better special guests and stuff. Well, not that our special guests haven't been better, but bring in people's who actually have good perspectives on stuff.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, you shit on everyone who's ever been on EDH.
Just shit on all our friends.
Yeah.
But yeah, so welcome to the Am I the Asshole episode, guys.
Part 2. Yeah.
Part 2.
Start off with a good one.
Okay. So here's our first story of today. Am I the asshole for calling him a fucking embarrassment?
Damn.
Yeah, damn.
I want to see
all right.
this.
I've been seeing my fiance for 4 years now, and I came into the relationship with 2 boys. My boys are now 12 and 9. Once a year, me and the boys go to my family's vacation home with the entire family, and up until this year, my fiance did not attend. God damn it. But now we are engaged in merging families. The family had asked if he can come too. They all get along great with him anyways. In parentheses, I explained to him prior to us coming to our family retreat that during our week stay with my family, my kids do not have a bedtime. We do a lot of night activities such as night swimming in the pool, karaoke, fires, nightly strolls through the neighborhood, etc., etc. So during this week, my kids absolutely do not have a bedtime, and this is how it's always been. I made it clear that the bedtime was not to be enforced like it was at home because this is a vacation and time with family, and I'm not making my kids miss out on the nightly activities.
True.
Nice.
Yeah. I also explained that due to this, some nights they're up easily until 11 at midnight. It's once a year. It's no big deal. So he was fully aware. And please note that this is the only time I've seen this side of him that I will mention below. We get there the first night, and you can tell he's already uncomfortable with the boys staying up past their bedtime. He was stressing out because the boys were still in the pool at 10 p.m. and he feel like they should be in bed already. I reminded him at least twice that we're not enforcing a bedtime here, and he let it go the first night. The second night, 9 p.m. rolls around and the boys are still up, and my fiance was dropping comments like, "You're lucky you're even still awake right now. You should be in bed." Saying it right in front of my mom, who looked mortified that he had such an attitude. I told him to cut the fucking shit in private. He tells me that it's fucked up and that it's going to be terrible trying to get them back on their schedule. Never been an issue in the years prior. I stood firm and I told him to knock it off and let go. Then last night, my fiance starts angry sighing every time he looks at my kids. Still awake, and I finally pulled him aside and told him he was a fucking embarrassment because he keeps saying these comments in front of my family, which leads to awkward silences and judgmental glances my way. I warned him prior to coming here that if he had an issue that he can't control for a week, he needs to leave because he's ruining our trip with his passive-aggressive bullshit surrounding a bedtime. He told me that I'm an asshole for making him feel like garbage over wanting the kid to keep the kids on a schedule because it's best for them. Am I the asshole?
It's very hard to say to the husband in this situation because like she gave a like their protagonist gave a preference like so during these holiday seasons my kids don't go to bed, and it's never been a problem because like the kids obviously if they've done it before they can do it again in terms of getting back to regular schedule. So I'm not sure where this is coming from because like what excuse you have to use like no they should be in bed, like dude, like it's a vacation, calm the fuck down. Yeah.
Maybe there's something wrong with him and her family, that because like she said before that during vacations it hasn't been an issue before, right? But all of a sudden when they're with her family now it's an issue, right? So maybe he's just acting up, I don't know, for something. I'm not sure, but like the thing that makes her less of an asshole for me is that she didn't call him out in public, right? She like took him aside and said,
every single time.
"You're a fucking embarrassment," but in private.
Yeah.
Stop being a fucking dickhead.
Yeah.
You know?
Because I think no, you're right. I think the best way to solve this conflict to be like the correct way. I mean, there's no correct way of anything, but yeah, just like not in front of the whole family. Mm-hmm. Like, hey, like, but I'm guessing maybe it's because she told him a couple of times, like a bunch of times, like in private, and the fact that like you know what, I'm not even gonna try to show you in respect because like at that point, like the husband's like disrespecting her. At that point, it's like I don't even give a fuck about respecting him. So I guess she was just like willing to like kind of make a scene just so he would shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
which I get it, and I personally I do think that kind of makes things a little messy, but also at the same time I can understand that when you're talking to your husband in private and he's like not fucking listening, that you would just like put the nail in the coffin. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really think she's that much of an asshole.
I don't think she's an asshole. I think the husband is just being a little bitch.
Yeah,
like,
he's being petty.
It's not your kids, bro.
Oh my god, I hate passive aggressiveness. Like that's like that's a big thing for me. Like I can't stand passive aggressiveness, especially like passive aggressive like sighing like
yeah, or
like just like snide remarks. It's like, bro, like we literally can see what you're trying to do here. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like you're trying to save face for these kids. Yeah. Because like you don't want to like upset them right off rip. But also at the same time, like, bro, we don't need that energy. We're on vacation. You know what I mean? Like,
that's true.
Like, shut the fuck up.
Because that's also the thing. Because like they go on vacation every it's like once a year. That's what she explained.
It's a once a year thing.
And this dude's ruined the vacation. Like, like I'll be pissed off too. Like, dude, like this was a vacation where we're all supposed to relax. The kids are supposed to have a good time, and you are ruining it. Like, Okay, next story.
Okay, next story.
Okay.
Moving on. What the hell?
Oh shit!
Yo, why
he's choking on a cock.
Shit!
Chill.
Okay, story 2. Okay, am I the asshole for telling my husband he ruined my birthday?
Yeah, it just
again.
Today now, Men's Health Podcast. We're talking about how shit men are.
How shit men are.
Let's go.
So background, today's my 28th birthday. I'm really into birthdays and holidays and believe in celebrating them to the max.
Okay,
this is well known to everyone. I'm also the planner and the giver, not only in my family, husband and kids, but my extended family, parents, siblings, friends, etc. So I'm the one that plans birthdays, get-togethers, gifts, and travel and all that stuff. I'm also, what does SAHM mean?
SAHM, due to having
what?
Due to having.
I'm also.
Let me Google that shit. I think maybe it's a parent of.
I'm also an SAHM due to having a son with a complex medical and behavioral needs.
All these acronyms on this subreddit, bro.
Yeah, when you're reading without fumbling, I was like, damn, bro, let's go.
I've been with him for 24.
Oh, it's just a caregiver. So
okay.
A woman who's engaged in a full-time care of her child or children and does not go to.
So she's like
stay-at-home mom. Stay at home.
She's a stay-at-home mom, but she's like a caregiver for her.
Okay,
it just stands for stay-at-home mom. I didn't. Yeah. I was like, what? What is?
Oh, it's acronym for stay-at-home mom.
Stay-at-home
oh my
mom.
God.
The more you know.
Reddit. Oh, okay. And now we know.
Okay. I've been with him 24/7 for the last week because it's also its school break and he's extremely clingy and has behavioral problems due to mental illnesses. I've also had an upper respiratory cold during this time, sore throat, fever, cough, runny nose, all that shit. but
Damn.
kept up with mom duties nonetheless. I
Shit.
respect.
Yo, respect to
Okay,
the mothers,
yeah.
bro.
My husband's birthday was last month, and as usual, I planned something for him. A weekend in a town a couple hours away for us and our kids. For my birthday, I tell him I just want to help the kids, the house cleaned, a nap, and him to cook supper or take me out. Maybe a homemade gift from the kids and a cake. Yesterday, my husband starts complaining of a sore throat. I check his throat, and it looks fine. No fever, no other symptoms, and he stays up all night playing video games. Sus.
Damn.
This morning, he says he is sick, but no visible symptoms. No fever, no cough, no runny nose. Doesn't sound like someone with a cold. He says his throat hurts, but he spent an hour on Xbox Live talking and did just fine.
From all that
He
screaming,
naps
bro.
all day because he
Yeah.
says he's sick, and I think it's because he stayed up until 4 a.m. playing video games. Meanwhile, I make my own cake, take care of the kids as usual, and do my usual chores. He didn't even tell me happy birthday.
What the
Oh,
fuck?
come on, man.
I finally decided to take the cake I made with the kids to my parents' house and have supper there, so I didn't have to cook. I'm pretty crabby at this point and didn't say a word before we left. He calls and asks why I left. I tell him because he ruined my birthday yet again, I'm trying to salvage it at least a little, and hung up. He called back and said I was overreacting. He's sick and I'm an adult. Birthdays aren't a big deal. He's sick and I'm an adult. Birthdays aren't a big deal anymore after 21. So am I the asshole for wanting one day to be the receiver instead of the giver to celebrate myself?
No, man.
No, yeah.
Damn.
Can't really support the husband here, because like if you've been married for a while and you're going through multiple birthdays, I think that's something that's very fairly communicated. At least from what it was kind of articulated, that was very communicated. Like, hey, birthdays are important to me, and for him to just say like, oh, they're not important after 21, like doesn't matter what you think about it. What she values is that she wants to be celebrated. So like you kind of fumble the bag by going on Xbox Live and just sucking dick. Like I don't know what else to say. Like,
Yeah. I don't know, bro. It's like, I feel like even, like, yeah, I understand that, like, birthdays aren't as important to us after the age of 21. I will get it, because it's like,
You're already grown.
you're already
you're
grown,
grown,
right?
yeah.
You get yourself your own birthday gifts and stuff. And, like, I feel like after 21, if someone buys you a birthday gift, it means just a lot more, because it's like, oh, shit.
yeah, it's more significant. Yeah,
You actually, like, want to get me a gift, rather than, like, feeling obligated to get someone a gift. Like, it just feels a lot better.
Yeah.
But I also think that, like, she didn't ask for a lot. She was just like, yo, take care of the kids.
Literally the bare minimum.
she
Yeah,
laid it out for
bro.
him too, like exactly what she wanted. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't like, oh, I wouldn't know what to do. Like, no, like she told you step by step what to do. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like, it's literally like just above the bare minimum. That's
Yeah.
like all she's asking for, just above the bare minimum. And this guy couldn't even do the bare minimum, bro.
Yeah.
It's like,
why,
what the
why,
fuck?
like, why are you married to this person if you're not even gonna like make them feel special, right? And I think from the last kind of part where it's where he says like, oh, you're overreacting and birthdays don't mean a lot anymore. I kind of feel like that's such a common
Yeah, Mr. Gaslighter Manipulator, dead ass.
not such a common, like, I guess, misunderstanding from people who, like, maybe this is not his love language. Like, we talked about love languages in the previous episode.
That's true.
So maybe he doesn't understand. But I mean, I don't know how long they were dating before. I don't know what their previous relationship status was like before. But like, you married this person,
Yeah.
and I assume that you married this person because you love this person. So, like, why would you not do everything you can to make them happy, right?
And you know what's crazy though? She said again, bro. Like, this
Yeah.
is the first time he's done
This is
this,
not the
bro.
first-
Yeah, so like I don't know, like the thing is like for him just to not like acknowledge what happened, like I imagine they get in an argument and he like makes like, okay, I will do better next time, and he just did the exact same things. Like, dude, like you just didn't.
Yeah.
That's entirely on you. Like, I don't think I can really blame the protagonist for any of this.
No, but for real, like, imagine being that big of a child, like, just wanting to play Xbox all day. Mm-hmm. And like, you know, like, yeah, I get it. You have a full-time job, you go to work, you like have other things and other responsibilities, right? But yo, she's asking for one day where she doesn't have to be a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, you know, she can be like celebrated and she's out to take care of the kids and stuff. And it's like, yo, it's one day you come home from work and you suck it up for that day, bro.
That's it.
And it's just, that's it. And then the rest of it, and then it means so much more to her.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But that's just a bare minimum. Like, he's acting like a fucking child. Like honestly, in my opinion,
Like you
Yeah.
can survive without video games for like
'Cause
one day.
I don't know. I just- yeah, I
1-2
was,
days.
I was gonna comment on that. I was like, imagine myself because even when I was playing like mad video games, like in the like beginning of my own relationship,
yeah,
I was able just to put it down. Like, yeah, it's okay. It's a fucking day. Like, it's because the games don't go anywhere. Like,
Yeah, it's gonna be-
you know what I mean? But then, like, obviously, like, yeah, it's just easy. Like, yeah, okay, I just want to turn on today, and then like usually what I do is like I usually spend a weekend trying to prepare for Karen's birthday, and it's not, I don't know, I don't find it too hard, and especially because like the way she explained it was like she wasn't looking for an extravagant party or anything. She just wanted the like very simple thing, and for him to kind of had everything laid out for him, he fumbled the bag, and it was like. I don't know. It's like I don't know. Like flip this cup, and he just like fumbled it somehow. Like
yeah, like
and,
literally,
like,
fuck.
yeah, like like all you have to do. That's it. Like
She literally like like the meme where it's like put bread in toaster and then it's like instructions unclear. I got my dick stuck in the toaster.
yo, no, that's actually
Like,
what it
literally,
was.
that's him, bro. Like
Yeah.
she laid out everything that she wanted,
Yeah.
and this guy was just straight up like, yeah, so I'm like just gonna pretend to be sick and play Xbox all day on your birthday. It's like
let's try give him the best benefit of the doubt just for 1 second. Like maybe he was really sick, right? Maybe he like I don't know, he wasn't showing signs, but he really had a sore throat. It's so like in today's society, it's so easy just to like okay, you can skip the dishes. You could even skip the dishes of freaking cake or something, right?
I'm
Yeah.
saying,
Yeah.
And like a dinner or something. And
yeah,
you
she
can,
said like you
can
can just
do
take me out. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
And you can do that from like your couch. If you even wanted to keep playing video games, you can take a break for 15 minutes just to like set everything up, order everything, and yeah, like all that. I mean, probably he wouldn't have been able to take care of the kids, but at least like he could have made her fulfilled some of her wishes.
Yeah.
At least some part.
And that's but
he didn't even try,
Not
bro.
even the bare minimum, bro.
He didn't
It's
even
crazy.
If he can talk in VC, he can talk on the phone and make an appointment for a reservation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, sure, maybe you're sick now, but like, dude, like, just like take a day of Quell, suck it up, and you're good. It's like one fucking day, man. Come on.
Yeah.
it's just compassion. It's like,
Yeah.
how would you feel if like someone else did that to you? You know what I mean? Like that.
This is like last line that like you're overreacting because like she very much communicated that was important to her. So like I wouldn't say she's overreacting. She's very much in her right to, especially if she communicated that was important to her. I was like, I don't know. I think it's very like if she's upset, it kind of makes sense. She explained why she's upset.
yeah.
So there's really no reason to be upset about that.
I wonder what else, like if it's something small like this that he's like half-assing the relationship on. I wonder what else he's half-assing, right?
You're right. Probably a lot, man.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
maybe he's just coasting and like going through the motions.
Yeah.
yeah. It's
What
just,
is Reddit saying?
It's one day. Everyone's just like, yo, like he's not sick.
He's not.
Yeah,
he's capping.
yeah.
Like
I think
he
it's
just
Captain
didn't want to do shit for you. Like it seems like he doesn't even like you. Like yeah, I don't know. Like that's crazy. Cause like even you were saying like even if he isn't showing symptoms, like if he's not showing symptoms, then dead ass like I've done more for myself, like to take care of myself when I'm sick and like I'm dying and like like when you're an adult, no one really takes care of you when you're sick, right? So you
Yeah.
got to make your own soup, you got to cook for yourself and shit like
Exactly,
that.
yeah.
It's like, yo, if he can still play Xbox and like talk with his homies while he's sick,
Yeah.
he can dead ass like do more.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Because for me, like if I'm sick, either I'm resting, but I have enough to play video games. I have enough to. Oh, sorry. If I have enough energy to play video games, I also have enough energy to get in my car and go somewhere.
Yeah,
I'll put a mask on and that's it.
Yeah, and this guy was playing until 4 a.m., bro. Like, what was he playing? Blues?
Yeah.
Was he playing blues?
He's playing blues. He's playing Fortnite.
Oh, not
Okay,
Fortnite.
Fortnite, my guy. Where we're driving boys.
He's playing Val.
Yeah, just straight up an asshole, or like not an asshole for their
Yeah,
protagonist.
no, not the asshole. Husband is the asshole.
Yeah.
Oh, another shit, man.
Yeah, we're
go.
talking about men's mental health and how not to be a shit dude.
Yeah.
Okay. Excuse me. Am I the asshole for calling out my fiance's stepdad's toxic behavior in a family gathering?
Damn.
Low key.
Someone who's confrontational. I'm not confrontational with my girlfriend's family, because it pisses her off if I was like that, and also like I don't want that to.
Straight calling him out. Okay. My fiance has had a complicated life. His dad abandoned him before he was born. His mother was a single mother for some years until she met her actual husband, and they had 2 kids together. From what my fiance has told me, his mother was very lovely, but his stepdad was a total asshole. Once he had his own kids, he made sure to let my fiance know that he was worthless in comparison to his own kids.
Yeah.
I disagree about his mother being nice, but because she enabled this behavior from her husband to her own kid, but I wasn't there, so I don't know for sure. Nice. My fiance likes gaming and anime since he was a kid. However, he's been shamed by his stepdad because of it. What a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Their relationship is not good, and it's all his stepfather's fault. He never tried to be a parent for him and hated having to keep him in the house. My fiance's grandmother told me this. When he was a teen, everything was an issue, from his hobbies to his friends. Anything he did was wrong. Well, anyways, he's in college now and is studying to be a programmer. He's doing great. His mom invited us over to dinner. We drove there, and luckily, we didn't have to put up with his stepfather for too long because he wasn't home when we got there. He arrived just a little before lunch was served. After eating, we were hanging out in the living room, and my fiance's mom asked him about college. He started talking about his grades, his classes, and other school-related stuff. His stepfather asked his sister, who's in senior high school, if she had been studying. All she said is that she did, and he said great because she needs to be ahead for next year. He then explained that his daughter was getting ready because she'll go to law school next year. He's a lawyer too, and he said in the comment that he said the comment that made me snap. Okay. He told my fiance that law school was hard and had been good at, what the fuck? He told me he told my fiance that law school was hard and had been good at it is something to brag about because everyone can play video games all day, but not everyone can graduate from a serious career. What the fuck? He literally said this. I looked over at my fiance and he was sad. He didn't say anything, but I know him, so I snapped. I told him that he thought that studying programming was playing video games all day, and he was far more ignorant than I thought he was. Originally, I planned to stop it there, but then I got caught up in the moment, so I also told him that he was an asshole for dragging my fiance down on purpose. I also told him that he must have a miserable life if he's so focused on causing pain on others.
Damn.
Nobody said anything, but my fiance asked me to leave, so we did. He's not angry at me, quite the opposite. He thanked me for standing up for him. I made sure that he knows I support him and love him. However, he got a message later from his mother about how rude I was for disrespecting his stepdad and how I ruined the day. I honestly don't care, but neither does he, but I want to know if I was too rude or not.
Well, the thing is, like, I see so many situations where, like, someone's kind of getting bullied and no one's standing up for them. And, like, I get the idea of trying to meet someone with grace and, like, to be a mediator in situations like this. And again, I'm always like an advocate for that, but it seems like the mom's not standing up for the son. No, like not even the sister, and I guess the sister's like younger than the fiance, and the dad just shitting on him. So the fiance just sitting there getting shitted on, like literally no one's standing up for him. And I'm like, you know what? Like at that point, it's like you only can be so tolerant, and then you just kind of have to put someone in place. Sure, the mom can be mad for like the wife or like the protagonist being like an asshole per se. But also, like, who gives a fuck? Like, you're not standing up for your son. It seems like no one is. And, like, your ex-husband is being an ass. So, like, what do you expect? I don't know.
Yeah. I just feel like... I feel like a lot of these stories, too, is just, like, people just, like, shitting on other people. And it's like, yo, it's like, come on, bro. It's not hard to, like, just be proud of them a little bit. Especially, like, parents shitting on kids.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, like... Just be proud of your kid, bro. He's a programmer.
Yeah.
Like he's doing good. Like he may not be your actual biological kid, but like you still help raise that guy. You know what I mean? And it's like there's no reason to shit on him if he's being successful. Like not saying that if he wasn't successful you should shit on him, but like at the same time, bro, like he's not. If anything, he's doing well for himself.
It also seemed like the stepdad was kind of intentional with like really making sure he feels bad about himself. Like, dude, what is your issue? Yeah.
What is your
like,
problem?
yeah, his stepdad didn't even ask him. He wasn't even part of the conversation. Like he was talking to his daughter.
His mom, yeah.
He was talking to his daughter, right? The law school person.
Yeah.
And then he like shifted to his stepson. Was like, oh, like yeah, you're what you're doing is not as hard as that. I'm like, yo,
you play games all day and shit.
Yo,
it's like
my guy literally caught a stray who was just chilling, bro.
He's just chilling, bro.
He was just chilling, yeah. But I think like her response though, in terms of like, she did go a little bit too far, but is justified. Honestly, in my opinion,
that's how I feel about it.
Honestly, if I was in that position, I would probably do the same thing. just because like you're like literally roasting my fiance.
Yeah, bro. Like, why are you roasting him, bro? Like,
Yeah.
leave him alone.
Yeah, like no one's standing up. Like, which is like no one's standing up for him, right?
Yeah, like maybe I think I would have stopped up like for, like the disagreement, like, hey, like why you kind of bring this up? Because like the first point she bring up was like why do what would she say, like something about like why do you have to bring up like blah blah, like the first when she before she kind of lost her cool and went like overboard.
Yeah.
I think the first disagreement was like enough, like she could just said like, hey, like that's enough, like I don't understand.
Stop being ignorant.
Yeah, I don't understand why you need to like just kind of shun his career. And I think that kind of started right there because obviously I'm assuming this is the very first confrontation, or one of the first times she saw them, and I kind of felt like maybe she kind of held resentment for the fiance on his behalf, where she kind of
like hearing all that shit.
yeah, hearing all that shit, right? And I think you should have just like kind of started with there, and then if it kept happening, then yeah, I think I would have maybe been a little more excused. But yeah, I like honestly I can't really say like like she's an asshole because like at the same time it's like yeah I can totally understand why that. Yeah.
You could never be an asshole for like standing up for people that you love.
Well, that's the thing is that
I don't think she's an asshole, but I think now the question is like, was she like too out of pocket? You know?
Yeah, that's the question.
Yeah.
But to me, it's just more like you kind of had to play a villain to like protect peace, which is kind of sad.
Yeah.
Because she had to be the villain in order to protect like like the husband, which is kind of sad. Where she didn't really she shouldn't have to do that in the first place if the stepdad wasn't an asshole.
Yeah.
So like I don't know, like it's. I think right now it's the scale of who, like, how much is she an asshole, which not really a lot.
Because I feel like also on the other hand, like I would kind of feel like sussed out if like my like significant other didn't like stand up for me. You know what I mean? Like even if I'm getting like shit on and like at the end of the day it's my responsibility to stand up for myself. But like also at the same time it's like it feels good to know that like someone has your back, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I the most out of pocket thing that she said though was kind of like that last sentence. Or what did she say? She said, "I also told him that he must have a miserable life if he's so focused on."
That's what
I don't think that was needed, but at the same time, it's
low
like
key she's speaking facts.
She's speaking facts, but like this situation is kind of tricky because like with in-laws and stuff, it's always tricky because because they have so much
like,
influence on like
because it's like that's still your in-laws. You know what I mean?
Like, because the thing is like I wouldn't do something like that because like it is an in-law and like I'm trying to get a good relationship with like my partner's family. Like I wouldn't do that. And I want that because I know that's important to her as well, right? So I don't want to do something like this. So I was like, to me, that's what I was kind of mentioning. Like, I think the first part was okay, and then the second part I was like,
it's like, damn, bro, you ain't gotta go that deep, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I know, like low key though, like if I was that dude, I know that cut deep, bro. I'd be sitting there like furious, holding that L for real, like
nostrils flaring, bro.
I don't know. If I was a husband and like I guess my wife did that for me, let's say I don't know, my dad's like she didn't like that. And I was like, you know what? Like thanks for that. Like I know like even when I have a good relationship, like my dad might not like you anymore, but I don't give a fuck. Like thank you for that.
Yeah,
it's like yo, you go for real.
Yeah, having a significant other that can stand up for you like that is pretty goated. Yeah.
Like I don't think she was ever the asshole in this situation because she's standing up for someone she loved. Yeah, but I do think she's like a little too out of pocket.
The delivery was a little bit.
She's I'm not gonna lie, she's hella out of pocket. Like,
yeah.
like you ain't got you ain't gotta go that deep. I fuck with it, but you ain't gotta go that deep.
Because she was spitting facts, but it's like, hey, like I think you need to tone down on like
It's like yo, like like how you're like already holding them back, and then like all of a sudden they like break out of your grasp and keep going. Like no, it's like that's what she was doing,
Yeah.
On this one though, like just further discussion on the dad. It's kind of like a toxic parent and a toxic man all in the same thing. Because I could imagine like what his reaction to his son's fiance, who's a woman, standing up for him. Like if all of the stuff that they said about him in the context is true, he'll probably be like, oh, so you already don't have like a good job in his view. Like you have to have like a woman stand up for you as well. Like, you can't stand up for yourself. Like what's going on with that?
Right. Yeah. The thing is like he doesn't realize that he probably beat out that kind of confrontation out of his own son. You know what I mean? Yeah. Again, I think we talk about like social environment. Like one of the previous episodes, like usually children that kind of grow up in a certain environment and they usually model stuff from the parents, but also like with positive parenting, usually like for example, if you hit your kid, like a lot of times they will be either one, they would model like that aggressive behavior, or two, be very submissive to other adults. And so for him, like his stepdad was kind of like has a very power imbalance. He's kind of letting him disrespect him because he's so used to having that power imbalance. So it's sure, you could say like, oh, he's a coward for having a woman stand up for him, but at the same time, it's like, I wouldn't really put too much blame on him because like, yo, like that's the person who's basically just an abuser in that situation. He's kind of abusing like the son in that situation.
It'd be hard to stand up for yourself if you've never done it before.
Yeah,
and like
if you're never taught
just,
it,
if you're just kept getting shit on, like honestly, if I just kept getting shit on, like I wouldn't know how to like stand up for myself.
Because I think we talked about teenage angst and how important it was, like how like,
like how important like your rebellious teenage phase is, because like that's how you learn to like stand up for yourself, and like that's how you learn to like challenge authority. I'll buy it not in a healthy way, but like it gives you the foundation to really like build that going forward.
Yeah, because usually with teenage angst, like you get a surge of hormones and like they end up being very fucking annoying, but like that annoying like over assertive behavior as a teen can come a long way if it's like developed right. Like, obviously I'm not there to like let the kid do what the fuck he wants, but like if I can imagine that if the fiance was kind of going through the development stage of like trying to learn how to confront, and like the dad would just beat that out of him, you know, then I don't think he would, you know, I can understand why he wasn't able to confront his dad the way like the protagonist was. Cool. Yeah, I'm not the asshole, but just out of pocket. Yeah.
Don't be a shitty parent.
Don't be a bad parent.
Another trash ass dude.
Oh, let's go.
Shit man episode.
Shit man episode.
Shit men, am I the asshole?
Men are trash. That's
Men are trash.
Men are garbage.
Follow me on Twitter. Men are trash.
Am I the asshole for telling my parents I don't want kids because I'm scared they'll turn out like my brother?
Oh yeah. We
Okay.
Oh, brother.
I think
My older brother is unemployed and has always been unemployed and has no intention to ever work. His life plan is to live off our mother until she dies, and our father, if he happens to live longer, then live off his inheritance, or maybe he'll try to mooch off of another relative. I don't know. Our parents have tried to get him to work. They did everything in their power to arrange him job positions where he didn't even have to interview. But no, he always comes up with an excuse to why that job is not good enough for him. He is my brother, so I love him, of course. But at the same time, I'm ashamed of him and how his actions have hurt our parents. I just turned 30 this week, and we celebrated it with my family yesterday. My mom said when she was 30, when she had me, and asked me if my husband and I are planning to have kids. I told her I'm not sure if I'm up to the job. Raising children seems too difficult for me. She asked what I meant, and I told her that I don't think I would be able to properly parent a child, correct their misbehaviors, and deal with them possibly not living up to my expectations, which is not fair to the child either. She pressed further, and my father joined in, acting like they don't understand what I mean, up until I finally told them that I'm afraid my child would turn out like my brother, for example, which I don't think I could deal with that. They got quiet, and I saw finally they understood what I meant. The problem was that even though my brother was having a different conversation with one of our cousins, he heard what I said, looked at me, and said, "Nice," and walked out. Our parents have said I shouldn't have said what I said, even though they admit they pressured me into explaining and understand my concerns, because it's already really hard to get my brother to come to family events, and now I made it even worse, and they want me to apologize to him. I didn't mean for him to hear that, and I definitely feel bad, but seriously, he's a 34-year-old man refusing to get a job. I think it's time we stop coddling him. Am I the asshole?
Yeah, I'm very mixed about this, but what do you guys feel about this?
I think low key, kind of like 70-30, she is the asshole, because she didn't need to say stuff about her brother.
No,
because they were talking about a completely different thing.
For real.
They were talking about like a completely different thing, and then like if she really cared about her brother, she would have brought it up to her parents in a different conversation, right? When he wasn't there. Right, it may be true that they're coddling him. It may be true that it's true that he is a bum.
Yeah,
he's a bum. You're 34, bro.
He's a straight up job, dude. He's a loser. He's a straight up loser.
Yeah, no,
sure.
yeah, he is a straight up loser.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, you don't have to like that kind of just brought him down more, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, when I see something like that, because usually it is a dude that usually lives with their parents since like past 30 and like doesn't get a job. I've seen that behavior so much common.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if it's just like in like not only in immigrant households, but I just know like sometimes some parents don't expect much from the sons, and they kind of expect the mother to do all the domestic work, get a job, do everything. Like, dude, like why are you not having that same expectation for your sons? Like, why are they so permissive? So like I can understand how like when you coddle someone, they don't really know how to do by herself. But at the same time, like the parents offered so many like solutions to try to get him out of work, and he's kind of choosing not to because he's so used to. He knows that he can get away with it, and I do think that the parents need to be a lot harder on him, and hopefully that like even if the protagonist like does apologize to the brother, the parents could be like, maybe we need to like, hey, you need to move out. Like I don't give a fuck because like as much as like I understand like the parents, because even there like the parents are like, oh, like we need to protect his feelings. I'm like, you know what, like.
Yeah,
I get it that like that was wrong for the protagonist, but at the same time like that's what kind of mixed with like kind of fuck his feelings. Like yo,
yeah,
like,
fuck his feelings.
you need and like
Fuck his feelings.
because I don't know, like I've seen so many times where like and like I understand like oh you really love someone, you don't want to hurt them, but it's like yo like if it's getting to a point where he's kind of leeching off you, there needs to be some confrontation, and obviously like it might not go out the way you want it to, and it may like turn out ugly, but that's kind of you have to pull the band-aid off kind of thing. Like you really have to just be like hey. Get a job, right?
Yeah,
And,
they need to hear what they need to hear for sure.
yeah, and I definitely think the protagonist could have actually just brought it up in like another scenario, but like the way she did it was just kind of immature. Like so, yeah, so,
yeah.
So I honestly think she is the asshole, but at the same time, like it's cool.
She's not wrong.
Yeah, it's like
she's not wrong.
two unrelated things. Like yes, two things can be true at once. It's like she's an asshole, but also yes, the brother does need to be called out. But I think she could have just kept that separate, like. Confront her parents on the having kids situation, but also at the same time like confront her parents about.
I think there's two assholes in this story. Like one of the assholes is the parents, because like this explanation here right here is pretty much honestly just good enough. Like she doesn't think she could ever properly parent a child, correct their misbehaviors, and deal with them not possibly living up to her expectations. Honestly. If I was a parent and asking like my daughter or son that for that reason, I think that would be a perfectly fine reason. I'd be like, you just don't think you'll be a good enough parent, and that's totally fine with me. Yeah. You know what I mean?
They did need to press more.
Yeah, they didn't need to press it.
That's a good answer.
I think the reason why the like because I'm trying to think of like first generation like parents with like that's kind of the social expectation, and usually for like the female anatomy like usually because they're born with all their eggs like I think. At the age of 30 around, like their eggs start to decline, and like it's kind of gets harder to get pregnant.
30s, like
in the 30s, yeah.
And like it's kind of sad because like obviously like for us we just shoot nuts left and right. You know we don't really have it like we don't really have that strict of a timeline. But so I'm guessing the parents were definitely like wanting grandchildren, and they like weren't really to accept the fact that they couldn't get grandchildren. And I'm assuming like they came from a generation where that was kind of expected. So I can understand why the parents were like. In that space, but I just think I think it's being just a miscommunication of like values. Like the parents kind of wanted that, like, oh, I want grandchildren, and then the daughter was like, nah, like I'm not giving you kids. Like,
actually, I don't remember where I heard this, but I do remember reading one time that our virility, so like our like male sperm count actually goes down as we get older too.
But I don't think it's as severe.
It's not definitely not as severe as women, but
we know absolutely for everything our gonads like just kind of fuck up as we go in age. But like for like the female anatomy, it's a lot worse for them.
They're like born with a specific set amount of eggs, and then like that number just keeps going down the older they get. Whereas like us, like we produce.
Also for a longer period of time. So I can kind of understand where the parents are coming from. Not to say that like, they're completely in the right, because like I think especially you should be able to respect your child's boundaries. But I'm assuming they come from a different generation that they just don't understand. So I think it was just a miscommunication of like generations. Like I don't like because I've seen this argument so many times of like parents really wanted like why can't you get grandchildren? Like the young was like no, I don't want kids, right? And that's very much like a conflict of interest. But I can kind of understand where the parents are coming from. Yeah. But at the same time, like I definitely think she shouldn't have brought her brother in this, or she should have like articulated in a way where it didn't have to mention her brother in that situation. Yeah.
I'm gonna assume that this family is an immigrant family. Because what you said like really resonated when like the son is not getting any pressure on him, but the daughter is getting a lot.
It sounds like a Filipino family, like low-key.
Exactly.
High key.
I was just gonna say because like I was like, dude, like I find this a behavior in like Latino families, Filipino families, South Asian. Not to call it like fucking a bunch of races, but like I find that very common. But I mostly find it common in Filipino families. That's very much
because the sons I don't know what it is, but I've experienced this myself too, where it's like. I don't get nagged or anything, or I don't I don't get pressure put on me or anything, but my sister does.
Yeah.
Like they go on her all the time, and maybe that's just because like I've learned to stand up for myself better. But I feel like because if you find it too, then I feel like it's consistent. Like I don't know why that is.
Because it's like you think about it too, and it's like you think about like even our own kind of like nucleic family. Like I think about my family, and I can name like a couple titos or like kuyas that like are just exactly like this. Like they're like 40, 50, 60, and still like still mooching off their mom, you know what I mean? And that's just kind of crazy to me. I'm just like, damn.
Like, dude, no, like I know like a lot of Filipino dudes who are like a lot older. I'm like, dude, haven't you like decided to, like your older sister has his whole life
together, right?
And like what happened, right? And like, and it's something that kind of took a while to kind of realize, especially because of like now dating Karen. I actually got to go inside her household, and not to kind of share like Karen's personal information, but like she's a middle child, right? So she has like 2 brothers, and like the behavior I noticed, like the attitude towards like what the mother treats Karen and the brothers, like the brothers have like a lot more liberty and agency to do whatever they want. For Karen, like every time she does something that's like in just as similar as her brother, it's like it is totally different. And like I don't know, maybe that's like expectation of like safety, because like I guess maybe it was not safe for the Philippines, or just like social expectations of gender, like whatever. But it's like I noticed like a lot of Filipino dudes end up growing up with not like with the parents being a lot more delicate with them, and I don't know.
And it's kind of backwards, because like if you think of like traditional gender norms, right? It's the dude who has to go out and be successful, and the woman who stays at home and takes care of the kids, right?
Yeah.
So why do the females get put pressure on to do all this successful shit, and the guys can just stay home and do nothing, beat their meat and play video games all day? Like,
Because like, was it if it was like truly traditional, where I would assume that they would expect the son to get like a high paying job so that they can be a provider, and then they would force the daughter to do domestic work, right?
Yeah.
But they're not even doing that. They're forcing the daughter, or like expecting the daughter to do both the breadwinner stuff and the domestic work.
Yeah.
And then the son's kind of going home to play Valorant and beat his meat. So it's like, because I know something that I was kind of talking to my brother. He was like, a lot of my Filipino friends because he was kind of comparing like his Ugandan friends from his Filipino friends. His Ugandan friends are very like stern, and like they're very like macho man, like in terms of personality. But like he's like a lot of the Filipino dudes are like they're kind of feminine a little bit, because like I don't know, they're not put into as much pressure to be like this. And that's not like an insult or anything, like whatever. If you're more like soft spoken, that's whatever. But it's like, I didn't even realize that, because when you kind of have no pressure in life, and I guess maybe that's why like the older generation like, oh, this generation is too sensitive. But like when you have less stresses in life, the probability of you being like more like assertive is lower, right? And I guess we talk about it like what's the degree of assertiveness that you need. Like obviously not going too extreme to like alpha top G, but also not being too passive where you're letting things slide. But like the younger brother obviously getting his feelings hurt, and like not willing to like even take a job. It's like he's older too. It's like, you know what, like I understand that your feelings got hurt, but like, dude, you're 34. Like, and that's where that's why I kind of felt mixed, because I can agree with the sister. Like, he's 34. Like, if he doesn't want to hear something like that, then like, get a job.
He's not even trying, bro.
You're not
his literal plan is to wait for his parents to die. Like, what the fuck? That's kind of
like
that's fucked.
I will say, so the parents are the asshole in this situation, and I do think she's an asshole, because I I'm not gonna lie, she is that kind of out of pocket. It's not that she's not being truthful.
She's right.
She's putting facts. Yeah.
But I think it comes down to again, it's like, was she out of pocket? And it's like, she was out of pocket. Like it's just a different conversation you need to have with your parents. You know what I mean? It's like, let's talk about brother XYZ, like he's 34, he doesn't have a job, like he plans to live off you guys, like, and I just don't think that's fair, right? That's completely unrelated to the kid thing. I just don't think it's fair to bring him up in that like kid conversation. It is relatable, because it's like, I don't want my kid to turn out like my brother.
There's so much better there's so much better examples to use than something so close to home.
She could even made up a story like my friend.
Yeah, my friend, exactly. People do that all the time.
Disobedient kids, and like, it really scared me, and I just need time to reflect. Like, it could have been like anything, just to make it like not about her brother. But also at the same time, I've seen so many times where the daughters and the parents are going ham at each other. They're fucking yelling because like the brother is like, just, like, not doing anything, and like that's like, why don't you do the same thing for me
with him?
Oh yeah, I've experienced that personally.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
this family is Filipino. Like,
Yeah.
can we agree?
To our all Filipino viewers, if you guys can relate, let us know in the comments.
I'm Latino and I know this shit. Like,
Let's go.
I'm familiar with his family dynamic situations.
but yeah, he's
Cool.
he's 34, bro. You gotta grow
Yeah,
up.
come on.
Yeah.
You're
I'm okay. I water yes to asshole, but you know if you're Filipino, so it makes sense. You know.
Yeah, true. Filipinos don't have feelings. You know?
Yeah.
Okay, this one's kind of weird.
what the
Damn.
fuck?
Okay, let me read this one real quick. Okay, am I the asshole for texting my husband's coworker off his phone? What the hell? Why didn't you do that in the first place?
Let's hear it out. Them out.
Okay.
Sorry.
I am a 22 female.
Okay,
and my
perfect.
husband is a 24 male. We've been together for 9 years and married for about 5 months. He has a coworker who has constantly overstepped boundaries and tried to flirt with him for almost a year now. Okay. She had gotten
Context
a little
is
bit better
important.
since we got married, but not very much. He also works at a small job for a total of 5 to 6 employees that helps care for animals. Okay, that's
Okay,
cool.
okay.
Nice.
So sweet.
This coworker has a streak with my cousin, with my husband, not my
cousin.
with my husband on Snapchat, and I've been noticing lately that she's been sending her streaks to her Snapchat streaks to him in her sports bra and boxers. What she sleeps in is what she claims. As much as I didn't like it, I let it go because my husband doesn't respond. Yet she sends anything weird and really only responds to work related issues. And before anyone asks, yes, we have an open phone policy in our marriage. We both have nothing to hide from each other, and he definitely isn't hiding her. He lets me read their text messages and look at their snaps all the time.
Oh, word. Okay.
However,
Okay.
this morning I go to send his streaks for him because he always forgets, and I like to keep our streak. I'm just weird like that. And I open hers to see she has yet sent him another streaks picture in her bra and boxers.
Oh my god.
Except this time she's pulling down the boxers on one side
Hey,
and exposing her
yo.
thong and half her ass.
Shit.
I was not cool with this at all. So I messaged her off his phone and said, "Hey, I'm married. You gotta stop sending me these types of pictures." To which she replied, I sent that to all my streaks. It's just a joke. I told my husband and he blew up on me. I understand that I shouldn't be texting people from his phone, but he wasn't mad about that. He called me an asshole because I now interfered with his work, and when he went in this morning, she was going to make his whole day a living hell. He told me she does this by giving him grunt work that no one else wants to do, makes him do it alone, and makes everyone else not talk to him while on shift. She isn't his boss or anything, but she's been longer there and has seniority. All of her friends also work at this place. I personally think that it's got to be against some sort of HR policy, and it smells like sexual harassment to me. I just feel like I didn't do anything wrong by setting a boundary with her that he is afraid to set because he's afraid of retaliation at work. However, I also understand where he is coming from, not wanting me to interfere because he doesn't want to make it awkward. But those snaps aren't okay to send to fully committed married men. Am I the asshole here?
Yeah. Oh fuck.
That's complicated, man.
Yeah, that is a tricky situation. Because at first I was like, oh no, like, and then like as she was, because the way she articulated what she actually articulated very neutral. I would say that is a textbook definition of sexual harassment. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I think I can 100% agree that's sexual harassment.
Yeah.
Because in my opinion, I probably would have just saved it and be like, hey, and then I would just brought it up to HR. But then again, like I don't know if like their HR is like because sometimes some HRs are very like outside, and then actually able to intervene and like so they're able to stay neutral. But some HR like have personal connections with some employees, so like sometimes it kind of gets corrupt. So it all depends on like the workplace environment. But how do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, let's take just like the outsider view, right? So, not reading into anything, she shouldn't be doing like it's not her phone, right? So, I mean, she should be talking to her husband, like say, hey, like this is wrong, right? You should be doing something about this. And then if he doesn't do anything about it, then that's when you're like, okay, like I've done everything I can to say this is wrong. He's not doing anything. Like, okay, he may be powerless in the workplace or something. Like if he brings it up, he may be
Jeopardizing his
profession, right?
Yeah.
But if you know it's wrong, then you can always like I would never like sacrifice my morality for a job for a bag, right? Like there's always gonna be a job for you.
Yeah, in this country, definitely.
Yeah. And I'm assuming because she's posting on Reddit that they live in either.
Yeah.
North America.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's North America.
Yeah.
Or like UK or some shit. Yeah.
Yeah, because like I think I read in one of the comments there that either he's not being truthful, or yes, it is sexual harassment. Like if you get in trouble for speaking out against sending like borderline nudes, then if you get punished for that, then yeah, that's really toxic, right? So if you can't even report that to HR, then I don't know, like it's time for you to look for a new job. But going back to the topic, I think she should have brought it up to her husband first and said, you need to take action because this is not okay.
Yeah, like why are you letting this happen? Like, do you ignore it, or you just like, because like I would, if I don't know, as a husband, if there was a woman kind of sending me streaks, like I would end the streaks. Like just wouldn't reply, like, and that's it. I just kept like unreplying, and then just like make it very clear that hey, I'm not interested. That way, there's no like, and like I really don't buy the excuse of like, oh, like if I don't reply, then she'll give me shit work.
Yeah, what?
I can understand the idea if like the text message, like at first that like the message that the protagonist sent, why it would ruin his stuff, but like if he just opens it and doesn't reply, then that's a great way of saying like, hey, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna assume that the woman like sending the nudes won't give him a hard time for not accepting her advances.
Yeah.
But I think she would do that if like obviously if the wife responded with something of that caliber of was it? Hey, I'm married. You can't be sending me stuff like this, right? So like yeah, she would be petty. That's I can imagine that happening. But I don't know, as a husband I was like, yeah, just open it, don't reply.
Like
make it clear, like, because like for me that's like that's the best way. Like if someone's like kind of blowing up my phone, then like I would purposely show them I'm being on, like I'm seeing them on scene. Yeah. And then if they bring up to me at work, it's like, hey, like I don't feel comfortable because because that way she kind of use the excuse of like, oh, I sent to everyone, because if she brings it up like, why are you ignoring my snaps? Like it's because I have a wife. Like
yeah.
I feel like there was better ways that husbands could have handled it, because I think I kind of agree with that comment. Like I do everything's a little sus that your husband's kind of just letting it happen.
Yeah, he's just letting it happen.
Yeah, because it's not just like, oh, I'm helpless. Like I think he has some agency in the situation. Sure, maybe his job's on the line. But in some aspects, I'm like, hey, like, he can do something about it.
His job shouldn't be on the line if he doesn't open a Snapchat. Like, what kind of company is he working for?
Like, yo, low key, you're 24, bro. Like, you don't need to be sending Snapchat streets at 24, dog. Like,
especially to your coworkers.
Yeah, especially your coworkers. Like, if it's like, I don't know, it's a little different with like, do coworkers send you something funny, then yeah, sure, you're responding or something like that. But it's like, I don't know, for like her to like be like sending like provocative ass snaps like that.
That's some high school behavior.
Like that's just weird. I'd be like, yo, you being weird right now. Like, so I do appreciate like the wife setting that boundary for him. But also at the same time, it shouldn't be her responsibility to do that.
I'm a little disappointed in the husband. I'm just yeah.
Because it's like,
fuck, man.
You should, like, at the same time, like, outside of looking in, you shouldn't be responding on your husband's behalf. Like, you should just be like, it should be something that you just bring up towards your husband. Like, hey, yo, this makes me uncomfortable. Can you please do something about this?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and as a responsible partner, you'd be like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Like, there's another woman sending me, like, her nips, basically. That would make sense. It would bother you. So yeah, I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, like let me see what I can do. If it's like I can visibly see it's making you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, you just saw her thong. Like goddamn. Like
I can mute her. Like it just. Like,
I can delete Snapchat. Like
like
just delete Snapchat. Bro. You are 24, man.
Yeah, dude. Like
like. So I get it. I get it. She is kind of in the wrong. I won't say she's an asshole for this, but I say she is in the wrong for responding on the husband's behalf. Yeah. Because obviously, like, in that relationship, you gotta like bring up problems privately before really acting upon it.
Not just solve yourself. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. But at the same time, it's also on the husband for like not being able to set a boundary or coming up with a solution that is proper. Because it's like she's like, oh, like, me and my husband like sending each other streaks, and I'm like, okay, like cool, like you, like that's cool, but like you guys see each other every day, like just get off.
You use like Facebook Messenger,
touch some grass and send some streaks in real life. Bro.
Yeah, like you guys literally send each other streaks in real life, like.
Because I don't know, like if like I don't know. I'm trying to imagine like if I was a husband, like, hey, like I know you like seeing streaks, but I think the best thing to do is for me to just delete Snapchat.
Just delete it. Yeah, like you don't need it.
Yeah, because like, do we really need to keep up streaks? Like, I know it's fun, but like obviously, like she's kind of exploring the fact that I have Snapchat, and that's a solution. 1, I can meet her. 2, I can block her. 3, like there's so many other things.
Collaborate on a solution.
Yeah, there's so many other things he could have done, and I just felt like him saying he had no agency in the situation. Was like,
it's an easy way out. It's like such a easy cop out. Like,
yeah,
but like take some responsibility.
Like
man.
he's just like, oh, like if I say no to her, she's gonna like be an asshole to me and like give me all the grunt work and shit like that, make my work a living hell. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I get that. But also at the same time, if she sends you that shit and you're not uncomfortable with that, that's borderline like sexual. Like it's either like if you're not uncomfortable with it, then
it's
like,
on. Then that's your
it's
fault.
on you. That's your problem, bro.
That's your
horny as fuck.
Yeah.
But if you do have a problem and you're not doing anything about it, bro, that's sexual harassment.
Yeah.
Like you.
It's
like,
unwarranted. It's
like because you just can't say no. Like if you can't say no because she's gonna make your work life a living hell, I get it, bro. Like you can't do anything. But yo, like save that evidence and then fucking go to HR, go to someone who actually will listen to you. You know what I mean?
Because that's something I would probably bring to HR. Like, hey, like usually like I would if I'm talking to HR, like I wouldn't like care because I could just like ignore it. But at the same time, it feels like if I address it, then she would start treating me differently at the workplace, and that's I feel unsafe, and then that's immediately that could be a red flag.
Yeah.
Now HR's on her ass, like, okay, you can't be treating your employee differently, right? Yeah. And you can't be sending him snaps, right? So then that way she's off his dick about everything, and that's so he could have took some agency. I just don't understand like why.
Yeah, and if people start hating you for it, it's like, yo, like you guys are being weird. Like, I'm married, 100%. Bro. Like if she sends it to you guys and you guys are single or whatever, or you're okay with that in your relationship, then cool, whatever, fine, good for you. But I'm married. I don't like that shit.
100%.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, even if he was single, it was unwarranted. It's unwarranted, right?
Yeah.
I know, like, I hate going to the whole like double standard, like, oh, it was a man that did this, but like in this situation, I was like, yeah, like I do feel like if a dude did that, it would be like way like really bad, and I feel like a lot of people are not taking it seriously because like, oh, like you should have wanted it, like you should be wanting this, like no, like I think. If it's unwarranted, it's unwarranted, regardless of the people involved. Like I think let's just take that at face value.
Honestly, the HR path is probably the easiest solution because unless this company is like really bad, if you're complaining to HR, it's gonna be it's gonna be anonymous, right? And if she's sending it to other dudes as well, she won't know who's reported her, so it's like she can't retaliate now because you've gone straight to HR.
Use your HR department, family.
The thing is, like, I also don't take her excuse of like, oh, I'm sending to other people. Like, okay, but like, why are you sending it to like your coworker? Like, just a bunch of nudes. Like,
it's weird, bro.
Like, yo, I'm not trying to send my like
weird butt cheeks.
I don't know, like
for free.
Like why would you send your butt cheeks to your workplace? Like,
just start an OnlyFans.
I'm good.
Make money off of it too.
Yeah, like I don't know. If you're not comfortable sending it to if you're not comfortable posting a story on Instagram, like why would you send it on the Snapchat?
True.
Like you just there's an ulterior motive behind that for real.
100%.
Yeah. Okay. Am I the asshole for eating when my brother was going to bed? Okay. The fuck? this is bro.
A story for Lauren.
Because he's 19 and her little brother's like, wait, okay, go ahead.
So me, 19, and my little brother, who's 8, is autistic and needy when it comes to paying attention to him. Every second he's awake, he needs someone around him, unless he's watching cartoons. You can't even have a conversation around him because he just starts screaming to get attention. He wasn't neglected as a child. He's just but he's also autistic, so I get it. Yeah. Because he still needs someone to watch him. Because of that, he still needs someone to watch him when he's falling asleep. It's a difficult process because he constantly tries to get out of bed and run around the house and refuses to cooperate. The whole process usually takes about 2 to 3 hours to get him to fall asleep. He also often at that time starts arguing that he's hungry because he usually refuses to eat dinner with us. So today I got hungry and I wanted to grab a quick snack. At the time I went to the kitchen, he was still watching cartoons, but minutes after my dad and him moved to his bedroom, he didn't even notice me in the kitchen then. but my dad snuck up on me to scare me while I was cutting my food, and I jokingly said I'm gonna stab him with the knife that I was holding next time he does this, and my brother probably heard me and figured I was making some food. A few minutes after, he starts whining that he wants to eat. My dad says no, because literally half an hour before he was proposing him some food, he didn't want it. He started crying because he's going to starve, and my dad gave up and went to the kitchen to grab some cereal, and he yelled at me that next time I should wait until he's asleep, even though I probably would need to wait until 11 p.m. I think it's ridiculous that I should wait a few hours, no matter if I'm hungry or thirsty, just to enter the kitchen, especially if my brother pulls a stunt when no one's in the kitchen at the time. So am I the asshole?
This is hard to know because this is like dealing with the. We've had a past story where there was so it's like I can't even say he's an asshole because like I can imagine tolerating that for years and be like fuck this shit like I can imagine
it's like fuck.
So I don't know like
I wouldn't be able to like tell personally because I've never been in that situation, but I can imagine how frustrating it is to be like something as innocent as getting food is seen as like bad. And I'm like, fuck, man, I'm just trying to eat. I'm hungry, bro.
Yeah, like, I don't agree with, like, because your brother is autistic, you need to starve yourself till 11 p.m. Like, I just don't agree with that. It's like, yo, like, that, like, I understand we need to take care of the brother because of his autism and everything. Like, you know, obviously it's a needy child. But if your other children or child, per se, is, like, starving and doing something like this to a point where, like, just to coddle him, it's like, I think that's kind of out of pocket. Yeah.
Like, because I understand, like, being considerate of his situation and being considerate of your brother, but also at the same time, like, yo, I should be able to get food. I should be able to have freedom to do this. Like, I shouldn't revolve my whole life around my brother, especially when I'm at home, you know? To, like,
no, absolutely.
Like, to consider him, right? So I think that, like, you're not the asshole in this situation, but I think your dad's, like, the asshole in this situation for, like, yelling at you.
Yeah.
Like, because it's like, yo, you shouldn't be, like, telling your kid, like, yo, don't fucking eat when your brother's awake. Like, it's like, bro, like, I'm hungry, man. Like, I want to eat. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I think it's on the parents to set the brother up for success. You know what I mean? Like, because I think they just need to learn how to better, like, parent him because he's autistic and he has, like, those problems, right? But, like, also at the same time, like, it's just like, yo, like, it's just tough because
he's
like,
autistic. Yeah, like I like
he's autistic.
Like, not to, the kid has autism. Like that's
the reality. I mean, like this is very similar to that story that we had in the previous My Docile episode.
Yeah,
where the parents are kind of like shirking responsibility off to the sibling.
Yeah,
and that's not fair because like it's not a kid's job to parent or supervise his brother or his or her brother or sister, right?
Yeah.
It's the parents' job to make sure that like they can all coexist in the same house. To parent their children.
Yeah.
Like it's not the OP's fault for wanting to eat because he's fucking hungry. That's what they're gonna do.
Is gaslighty as fuck to like play around with your kid because he the dad like low key like ran up and like scared him and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so you know he's being like
sneaky,
good, lighthearted, right? You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, like his brother wakes up, turns around, and then it's all of a sudden it's your fault. It's like, bro, like
you woke him up. Like this would not have been a problem if you just were like
shut the fuck up.
Yeah, like, you know he's autistic, so you know he's gonna be like sensitive about stuff. So like you should also be aware about this.
Yeah. Like I just think I think it's like unreasonable for the dad to take his frustration out on them. I was just reading his comment, and it's like it's also not reasonable for like you to wait 3 hours just to eat, bro.
Yeah.
Like, yo, like
you're also a human. Like you're not any less valuable because you don't have
autism.
Yeah.
I guess like the Depression Olympics, right? Like if you have it worse, it's like okay, we should care about you more. But it's okay. Like I feel like in this specific family dynamic, everyone I feel like should have some needs taken. Like of course, like we need to take care of the autistic kid, but the kid's fucking hungry. Like he's hungry.
Yeah,
he's got to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not the asshole.
I agree. Man, not the asshole.
Damn.
What the?
Okay. Am I the asshole for telling my wife that her brother's mental breakdowns are a choice?
Damn.
Okay. Damn. Okay. For as long as I've known my wife, her brother, let's call him Frank, has had mental health and substance abuse issues. He used to go out late at night with his friends, hardly get any sleep, and would randomly have mental breakdowns, which landed him in a mental hospital at least once, and has led him to getting fired from more than one job. Finally, about a year ago, Frank got the help he needed and appeared to be doing better. He got a bipolar diagnosis and was prescribed medication. When he was on his medicine, Frank could function and even hold down a job. The problem is he would stop taking his medicine. He would also drink and smoke heavily, both on and off his medication, which obviously didn't help matters. Fast forward to a few days ago, we got word that Frank may be about to have another meltdown. My wife seemed really upset, but I told her that it's his choice to stop taking the medication, and he knows that he needs to stay off alcohol and other substances, yet he refuses to do so. Personally, I don't drink excessively or use drugs, and I think it shows a lack of character to do so. Frank still lives with my mother-in-law at the moment, and she allows him to get away with the horrible behavior. He doesn't clean his room or the bathroom and is disrespectful, makes noise late at night, etc. I told my wife that the best thing her mom could do for him was to kick Frank out so that he's forced to take responsibility for himself for once in his life. My wife told me that I was being cruel and that her brother would end up homeless and he wouldn't if he couldn't live with my mother-in-law. I told her that her mother is being weak and doesn't want to be a parent, and that if we ever had a child like that, he would be out of our house as soon as he failed college, which Frank also did. My wife told me that I was being unfair and that Frank's illness means that he's going to be living with her mother for the rest of his life, but I calmly tried to explain to my wife that I know people with bipolar disorder who can live independently, and she's simply making excuses for her screw up of a brother. Anyway, after I made that remark, my wife slammed the door of the bedroom and shut and didn't come out for several hours. She's also rejected any attempts that I've made to speak with her about the situation. I believe that she's in denial, cannot come to grips with her brother's moral failings, and has instead decided to blame me. I want our relationship to be what it used to be, but I simply refuse to play her childish and irrational games.
I've seen this argument so many times.
Am I the asshole?
About like the victim mentality versus oppressor mentality. I've seen this so many times. So like how much agency that people have. We've talked about it before. Like when there's people like on drugs and everything, and how forgiving someone should be. I definitely am more on the wife's side in this situation, where like yes, I can agree that the brother has some agency of like, hey, take your medicine. Addiction is a lot harder to deal with, right? Because I don't think it's, especially if you're someone who's never taken drugs before, and if you've met someone who's been addicted to drugs, it's not easy as like, just choose not to do it. Like I think that's very, I would say very blind, like to think like that. Like I think that's very tone deaf, just to be like, oh yeah, like. But then again, like I think he has some points in the sense of like, brother could choose to take a medication. There's some things he can do, but at the same time, like I do think he does need a lot of support, and kicking him out would not help. Like it won't help the brother. Like it's not what he needs.
No, that's probably the worst idea. And the comment that he said that, oh, but I know other bipolar people that can live with it. It's like maybe they're not the same. You know, mental illness is not like it's not like a cold, right? Like where it's it's a cold, like you can get over it. Like it's different for every person. Yeah. That's why it's such like a big epidemic. Like it's so hard to treat, right? Because it's different for every person. You can't just say, oh yeah, he'll live independently as long as he takes his meds. Well, maybe you've just taken away his support system. Maybe, now he's not going to be as motivated to take his meds. You know? Yeah,
and like because like I feel like a lot of people kind of experience one experience to another. Like I think like, for example, like when someone's like, oh, like there's a poor like mother or poor like woman, right? Yeah. And he was like, "Oh, look at Beyonce, who was a kid," or whatever. I was like, "Dude, like,
come on."
It's like it's that kind of shit. It's like that's kind of like very tone deaf. Like, I can understand that people have some sense of like choice, and I get it. I understand it. I think not just letting people be like a victim to their own like snowballing and like whatever. But in this situation, it's like, like I think you need to be a little more forgiving on the dude. Like, bipolar disorder. Bad drug addiction, like just alcohol addiction. Yeah, so just like, dude, like it's just not. Yeah, and some people are saying it's not really a choice, which is like it's kind of hard to define. Again, it's like an argument of like agency and stuff. But I was like, like if one person has a bipolar disorder and you notice their behavior, that doesn't necessarily apply to someone else because there's other social factors. It's not just the bipolar disorder that adds a factor, right? You got to keep in mind that also he has an addiction, other social factors, right? human behavior is not a clean cut like, oh, he has this or he's like this, he's like that or like this. Like it's a lot more complex than that. And to him to use like a sample population to generalize to like, oh, all bipolar people can do it if one can do it, right?
Yeah.
I think it's just very, very naive and like I don't know. I would say he is the asshole in this situation. I don't know.
Yeah, I
Like,
agree.
Yeah, because like
Agreed.
bipolar disorder is a disease, but also addiction is very much a disease as well. And it's like getting saddled with both of those is tough as fuck.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
tough.
I will say that like, when you are on like depressive meds, like it's tough. It's very normal to feel like you aren't like yourself. And that's why a lot of people tend to be off the meds because they're like,
Yeah.
once they start taking the meds, they lose a lot of their impulses and they start to feel like almost numb. So
Yeah.
it's just like a lot of people get off the meds to like feel something and feel a little bit more alive. And I've also experienced that like firsthand. Like it's just not something that like is so clear cut. Like, oh, once you take your meds, you'll be okay. You know what I mean?
No,
Like
absolutely.
it's a very like just dealing with mental disorders is a very complex situation. Like it relies on having a support system. It relies on putting yourself in really, really good situations. And even then, when you are on medication, are in a good situation, and do you really have a good support system, like your brain just doesn't
Sometimes
work.
they'll just
like,
have bad days.
Yeah.
It's just there'll be bad shit that happens to you and you relapse, right? And that's just what happens. You know what I mean?
I think that's the biggest thing. He just doesn't take on that people can relapse. That's because like sure. And again, mentioned with the whole medication thing, because I've had like family members who are the same thing. Like like they explain like, oh, they lost their sense of identity when they were on this medicine because it was like they weren't them like in that situation, right? And of course, like like the rational thing per se would be taking your medication, but like, there come side effects, and like it does like ruin, like play with your psyche.
Yeah.
Like I do think this guy's being a little like really pretty insensitive. It's like like I definitely think if you ever were in his shoes, like you probably wouldn't be thinking the same way. Like
because it's hard to also deal with addiction. Like if he's really into drugs, if he's really into alcohol, like it's tough to get off of that too. All while dealing with bipolar disorder, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like with bipolar disorder, you deal with like manic and depressive episodes, and it's like especially with those manic episodes, you feel super productive, but it's like also at the same time, like you start to like get imposter syndrome during those manic episodes, and then it leads to a depressive state, right? Like once that cycle switches for you, and it's just tough, like and then add addiction on top of that, right? It's just you have to like have a really, really good support system.
If anything,
and stuff like that,
the
right?
dude needs more support.
Yeah,
Instead of-
he needs more.
Yeah,
for
he needs
sure.
more.
he just has the mom. That's it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
and he just wants to throw him out in the street. Like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy, man?
like you throw like a mentally ill person out on the street and they'll stay homeless for
No,
sure.
they will
Like
be.
they
Yeah.
will, like they 100%. Like
Yeah.
as much as a person from on the outside looking in think he's a bum, he's a loser, he's junkie scum or whatever, you have that negative perception. It's like, at the same time, like that's her son, and that's it. And like her sister's thinking that's my brother. You know what I mean? Like yes, it's really sad that he's going through bipolar disorder, and yes, I understand that he does a lot better when he takes his medication and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
But also at the same time, like if he relapses and he doesn't get the care that he needs and he doesn't have the support system that he has, like it's going to be fucked up for him.
Yeah.
And it's like that's the last thing that their loved ones want for him. You know what I mean? So I think he is the asshole for thinking about this shit because it's like he just doesn't understand mental illness.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Yeah, like I don't know. If it was like, oh, he's just sad for no reason, like I don't know, he got out of a bad breakup, like and like okay, I can understand like he's being a baby, but like he actually has an actual diagnosis, drug addiction, and like just shit in his brain. He's on medication. Usually they recommend like CBT before like medication. So that means he's at a point where it's kind of getting out of hand that he needs to rely on medication to survive. So like it's probably pretty bad. I can assume it's pretty bad. So I just
it's bad.
I definitely think that the protagonist is being very insensitive in this situation. I would say, So
Like, he's just being an asshole. Like I just think he just doesn't understand bipolar disorder at its fullest, and he doesn't understand her brother like enough to like really think about like it's like have you sat down and talked to this dude and like ask the questions you need to, you know what I mean? Like it's just insensitive and just doesn't understand.
because as the like the OP, like that's the protagonist, right? He has the OP. I was like, like why don't we visit your brother? Let's talk to him, like see what's kind of going on, see where like we can help, right? just so he's not constantly like relying on your mom. Of course, I'm not saying you need to like start taking your take care of the brother, because that's obviously like a lot to take care of, right? But it's like, it's, I don't know, it's like one of those things like, oh yeah, the homeless people are sleeping on the bench. Let's spikes on the bench, right? Instead of kind of seeing where the issue is at its core.
Yeah.
So it's one of those like band-aid solutions. Like if there's a problem, get rid of it instead of like fixing it.
Yeah.
Kind of solutions.
Yeah. The last story of the night. Here we go.
Let's just hear it neutrally. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Am I the asshole for expecting my 7-year-old to pick up after herself and setting a schedule for her? So I, 26 female, am a full-time working mom. I'm the breadwinner for my family, normally making anywhere near 40 to 50K more than my boyfriend, 31 male. He is currently unemployed after having been laid off in December, but this isn't the first extended period of time he's been out of work. We have a daughter, 7, has her own room, her own phone, TV, and all the toys and electronics I only dreamed of when I was a kid her age. That's dope.
Okay.
She's wonderful, gets good grades, and is such an old soul. I'm truly lucky to be her mom. She's the one who got the shit out of a stick with a mom like me. Oh, what the fuck? Okay. Well, I mean, you're already describing yourself like this. Fuck. You're not even really making a good case for yourself. Anyways, she lately picked up a bunch of bad habits by not cleaning up after herself, leaving garbage laying around, and leaving her room a complete disarray. It's despite my attempts at cleaning her room nightly. I try to teach my daughter that she needs to clean up after herself, at least putting toys away and arts and crafts into the correct bins, okay? And I admit sometimes I get more frustrated than I should, but my boyfriend enables her instead of being by my side. He completely sends her away with and will clean the mess himself, which just involves him shoving things where he wants, and then my daughter has to pull everything out to try to figure out where things are. Okay. He gets mad that I try to push her to clean up after herself because he says that she's just a kid, but I don't see picking up toys and putting away arts and crafts to be a demanding task, especially since I let it sit there for a couple days before saying anything to give her some space to do what she wants. Dope. Okay. He also gets upset that I pencil my daughter in and that I'm obsessed with schedules. I'm a forgetful person. I'm also the kind of person that gets overwhelmed when I can't figure out how my when I can't figure out what my step 1 looks like, and having a calendar really helps myself keep myself accountable. I love my family, but I also love my job. I'm actually really good at my job, and I love how my daughter is proud of me and how she finds herself motivated to want more when she talks about her future because she sees me crushing it. I'm worried that these bad habits she's picking up and seeing from her dad without work for months, and seeing him leave a mess in the house and not cleaning up after himself, even though he has plenty of time to, and just watching him play video games or stay stuck on his phone, not really trying to accomplish anything with his time. I want to add that he's an amazing dad. He picks her up and drops her off every day, makes sure she's ready for school, never forgetting to pack her snacks, and staying involved in everything she does in school best she can, while also making a tremendous effort to hang out with her and be mindful of her feelings. But if it doesn't involve her, he's not ambitious. He's dirty, he's lazy, and has a complex. Am I the asshole for expecting my daughter to clean up after herself at this age? And am I asking for too much for setting time in my calendar to spend time with my daughter?
No, I'm on the no. To be honest, I just feel like she should be upfront with the husband. That's where my issue is. Like, I think it's an argument. Like, what it sounds like an argument between what is it? The husband and the protagonist, and a daughter's getting involved, as opposed to like her daughter. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think like if she just expects a 7-year-old, still a kid, man, to I mean, like for all of her intentions, not the asshole. The execution, she's the asshole.
Yeah,
like,
that's a great way to explain it.
Because the 7-year-old is just a kid. He's just a little kid. And
no, that's great too, bro.
You need to be working with your daughter, right?
Yeah.
To build those habits, not just saying, okay, go clean it up, right?
Yeah, go clean up.
You may think she's an old soul or whatever the hell, but she's still a kid. Like you still have to teach her the good habits.
Yeah.
Right? And you and your husband need to work together in a coordinated effort to, teach her the habits, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can't just expect, okay, for a little kid to like just do it herself.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, I think the boyfriend is lazy, like just putting shit away where it's not supposed to.
Yeah, he's not being a good model.
I'd be pissed.
He's not being a good role model. I would be pissed. Like, I would like yeah, he's not being an asshole or anything, but he's just being difficult. You know what I mean?
Making the situation.
Yeah. He's not making the situation any better.
Yeah.
But like, I do think that she's an asshole for like expecting a 7-year-old to adhere to all of her expectations. Because at the end of the day, she's 7, bro.
She's 7.
That's grade 2.
That is grade 2.
If you think about it, you're learning your times tables. Like at this point, like you're learning addition and subtraction and shit.
Times 2.
Yeah, like. Like
9%.
yeah, like if I'm not putting away all my toys all the time and like I'm not putting my arts and crafts in the specific bins, like like come on, man. Like
you need to chill, to be honest.
Like you need to chill. Like, and you're worried that she's gonna pick up like the behaviors from your boyfriend, then address it with your boyfriend. You know what I mean? Like, don't address it with your daughter. You know what I mean? Don't be worried that your daughter's gonna pick up those things. You're also like yeah, sure, if it helps you like be more organized to pencil in time with your daughter, but also at the same time, like I feel like that shit should just come a lot more organically. I don't think
just come naturally.
Like I don't think you have to like pencil in like from 3 to 4 I'm gonna spend time with my daughter. Like that's just like, I don't know, that to me just seems like robotic, because it does. Multiple times on this podcast we've said that like love is a very irrational thing, and it shouldn't be like super structural and super functional. Like your life should be structural or functional, but like loving a child and spending time with a child
should always
feel
take
so
priority.
like
no matter like if you're busy with work or other stuff in your life, if you have a kid, you chose to have a kid, so that's your priority no matter what.
Honestly, it's kind of hard to say, because like obviously like we don't have kids.
We don't have kids.
Because like I'm trying to, because a part of me is also feeling like sad for our little protagonist, because like as much as I would say yes, an asshole, but I also what this guy's kind of saying is like, I think to me this situation is between you and your partner. I don't think it has anything to do with the daughter.
It has nothing to do with the kid.
And I think it's like because I can understand why that's a frustration of like, hey, like I need you to model that behavior. Like, I don't think maybe forcing your daughters to clean up like at that age, sure, but I definitely think, hey, as the father, like, hey, I need you to model that, because if you're not modeling that behavior for the daughter, then like, and if I'm the one modeling it, then it's gonna kind of it's not consistent with what we're trying to teach our daughter.
Yeah, exactly.
The pencil thing, like from the way she described it was like, oh, like I'm really like an organized person, and like it helps me kind of keep things in check. I just want to know like how she pencils it. Is like, oh, this whole afternoon I'm spending with my daughter, or is like, oh, within time A to time B I'm seeing my daughter. Because if it was like, oh, this afternoon I'm freeing so I can see my daughter, to me it would be I would be like understand.
I bet. Yeah.
To me I'd be honest, like, okay, that makes sense. Like, because like, I get it. Like, okay, I have to do overtime on Tuesday, but Wednesday I'll make sure I'm free so I can see my kid, right? So from 4 o'clock to when I sleep, I'm going to see my daughter. To me, that's understandable. But if it was like, oh, I'm going to read a book from 3 to 4 and then like play my daughter 4 to 5, and then I'll go like wash dishes at 5 to 6. Like, to me, like, no. Like, I think,
no.
Like, I don't even think you should be making a sketch for that. I typically think, and like, obviously, like, I don't know her situation, but like, it sounds like she's very like OCD about stuff. Like, very like, And so like, I don't know if she needs help herself, because like, I think that's why, like, yes, in theory, yes, she is the ass in that situation, but also I can kind of feel bad for her. Like,
in some sense, and actually, a kind of like a part of an asshole is the husband.
The husband,
it's like
yo,
she seems very overwhelmed with stuff, like her work, and then this stuff with her daughter. Like, he needs to pick up the slack.
That's what, I
get a job.
Like, we're not saying he's, because the OP said that like he's a dope dad. Yeah. Like he picks her up, like he gets her ready for school, shit like that. Like, he's not like an absent dad. He's not the worst dad that we've seen on a lot of these posts.
Yeah, of course.
But also at the same time, like, if you are trying to set like be a good example for your kid, you should be able to meet your wife's expectation, like, putting shit in specific bins and stuff, because you're a grown-ass adult, bro. It's like, yeah, sure, your daughter may not be able to put all of her specific stuff in bins, but you're like 30 or some shit like that. You should be able to put shit in bins, put the toys away.
Especially if you're unemployed. Like, I think that's the one thing where I kind of don't find an excuse. Like, I get it, when you're unemployed, sometimes it's easy to be a bum, when you have a kid like that, I would assume that would kind of give you enough like oomph to be like a little more like like responsible. Yeah, because like I don't know, with the kids, like yo, you gotta be responsible with that kid. So like, especially if you're kind of just, did you imagine he plays video games all day or something?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it like that where it's like, hey, like yo, put your game away, help your daughter out, like kind of just raise your kid instead of like playing like video games. She's not the problem as but I don't know. To me my biggest gripe is mostly with the husband. Again, I'm kind of, because even as a protagonist, kind of explain the husband as like someone who's understanding, compassionate. I definitely think he could do a little more.
He could do more.
100%.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I think that like she is like a person of like very strict schedules and like super,
and I get
like
it.
super like a super structure based person, and like I understand. But also at the same time, I feel like you should be a little bit more lax because your kid is 7. You know what I mean?
I think the reason why I kind of understand, because like the way she explained it was like it reminds me a lot of a mom who's very like rigid, and also like my coworker is also mom, also like that as well, even in a workplace. And so I get why an environment can kind of make you like that, where you're very rigid and strict. But at the same time, like like I think like one of them said like just breathe and chill out. Like I agree. I think you need to learn how to be okay. And like not die on a hill of like, oh, she needs to put this away at 7. Like that's not a hill to die on. It's like, okay, I think you can hold the L for that one situation.
Yeah.
But I definitely think like this conversation needs to be about with the husband, not with the daughter.
Yeah. But yeah, cool.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah,
that was fun.
In today's episode of Men Are Trash.
Men are garbage.
7-year-olds are trash.
Yeah.
Fuck the 7-year-old.
Yeah, if you're a man and you play video games and
suck.
you're
Yeah,
lazy
that was a common theme.
and not ambitious,
Dude, I've been saying this, bro. No license, play video games, doesn't know how to cook, can't clean. Like, dude,
get a life, man.
yeah.
Please.
And like, yo, I know I can only be judgmental because like I don't know, maybe if I grew up in an environment, I would turn out the same. But at the same time, like just kind of giving people more autonomy over themselves. Like, hey, like if I don't have these skills, then I need to work on it. So I'm not like a bum. Like you're not 34, having your sister call you out at a party because you can't
because you can't get a job.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
So like as for I don't know any male viewers watching, like try to not be that person.
Yeah, don't be that guy, bro.
Yeah, like do our job as men. Just like not for anyone. Like just for yourself. Like seeing what you can accomplish and not being so codependent. Because
just be a little better, man.
Yeah,
like just tiny bit.
Yeah, just.
It's like you can still play video games, bro.
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah, like
you can still be like lazy, But like, come on, man.
A job? Come on,
go get a job, bro. At the bare minimum, have a job, bro.
Yeah.
Driver's license.
I think to me the biggest takeaway is like as long as you're not like leeching off someone, to me, and like you're not 7.
And you're not 7.
Yeah, then like come on, like I think you definitely need to take some responsibility. But besides that, like obviously don't feel bad about yourself. Like if you're realizing like, hey, maybe I'm a fucking leech, then do something about it. Yeah. Cool.
All right.
Cool.
Tell us if you guys think we're wrong and you don't agree with that Filipino standard, or
because I love it. We're like, I'm pretty sure this family's Filipino.
Yeah.
We like
100%. I felt it.
I
I felt it.
or if you do agree that 7-year-olds should be fully autonomous and know how to clean their room.
Yeah, he's fucking
Perfectly at
7-year-olds,
7.
man. Actually, fucking lazy piece of shit.
Fucking 7-year-olds.
He's Gen Z, bro.
Yeah. And if you do think that men aren't trash for playing video games and being lazy all day, tell us.
Let us know.
Let us know.
Just fucking.
All right.
Like I hate men.
I hate men.
Yeah, I hate men.
Like, all right, well,
Men are trash.
this is the last episode, I guess.
All right. See you guys.
Peace.
Peace. Have a great day, guys.
Bye.